Look, up until about 5 minutes ago, we all understood that there was a high likelihood of us getting shot if we got into a wrestling match with law enforcement while carrying a loaded firearm. Truth be told, the tragic shooting of Alex Preddy could have been completely avoided had he made one less dumb decision that day. But here's what I believe to be the most plausible series of events given the evidence and video footage that we currently have. Preddy was obstructing law enforcement operations, assaulted an officer, then proceeded to resist arrest and get into a brawl with law enforcement while armed with a loaded firearm. While he was resisting arrest, officers noticed his weapon and screamed out that he had a gun. He was then disarmed by one officer who takes his weapon. Preddy reaches for his waistband, seemingly for his gun, but grabs one of his secondary magazines instead because he was disarmed. As this is happening, Preddy's weapon negligently discharges as the officer who disarmed him walks away with the gun. This then triggers the other officers to believe that Preddy had begun shooting, and they neutralize the perceived threat. Now, I am for the Second Amendment all day long. However, Minnesota carrying laws do exist, and you are required to have both an ID and permit on you while carrying. From what I could find, Preddy had neither of these on him at the time. On top of that, when you're carrying, you have added responsibilities on you. And if you get into an altercation with law enforcement, I would advise anyone in this situation to announce that you have a permitted firearm on you and to not resist arrest. Tell the officer that you think that this is BS, but that you'll fight it out in court, not in the streets. The weapon that Preddy was carrying was a SIG P320. Now, Sig Sauer has faced many lawsuits over the P320 NDing. Just last year, they awarded a veteran $11 million whose P320 shot through his leg while holstered and untouched. And earlier in 2025, they lost another lawsuit resulting in a $2.35 million payout over another P320 ND. Multiple videos of the P320 misfiring can be found online, and in some cases, misfiring multiple times in a row. Look, law enforcement officers in that moment don't have the luxury of hindsight and multiple camera angles, not to mention the whistles, the shouting, and all of this happening in a matter of seconds. One of the clearest videos of the shooting show Preddy reaching for his waistband and seemingly grabbing one of his secondary magazines just before the shooting. That officer either believing that he had a second firearm or being unaware that he was disarmed seem highly plausible to me. If this is the sequence of events that occurred, this was a tragic accident, but that's all it was, an accident. I don't think Preddy's intention was to kill law enforcement, and I definitely don't think the Trump administration should be calling him a domestic terrorist with the intention of committing a massacre, but in the same breath, Democrat politicians shouldn't be calling this an execution. There's a full investigation of the shooting underway, and we will see what the result of that is in due time.